Hello, and thank you for being a musician and seeking to better your craft. Let's talk about submixes today. So submixes are super useful. The basic idea or function of a submix is to apply an effect or effect chain to lots of tracks or lots of things, but not everything. So if you want to apply something to everything, you just put it on the master. Simple as that. But if you want to apply an effect to, say, let's say you have 30 tracks going on, you want to apply it to 20 of those 30 tracks, that would be really tedious to either apply it to every track individually or unlink every track from the master and then link them all up to some bus manually. That would be very, very tedious. So submixes are here to help. So we've got this little pattern. Okay, little pattern there. This is just a demonstration, so we don't have very many tracks. With this few tracks, you wouldn't really need a submix, but again, just for demonstration purposes, we're going to be using some submixes here. So here are the goals that we have. We're going to put reverb on the clap, hat, and snare, and we are not going to have any reverb on the kick or bass. And we are going to put compression on all of the drums, but not the bass. And then we'll also sidechain the kick and the bass afterwards, but that's kind of extraneous, but it's also just demonstrating that submixes do not isolate the tracks involved in the submix from the rest of the mixer. So yeah, let's move the bass out of the way just like that. It's not technically required, but it's nicer to do that so everything's a little bit more organized and spatially sensical. So let's make a reverb bus real quick. Reverb bus or reverb send. This is where all the tracks that are going to have reverb are going to go to, and then this track will have reverb on it. So there you go. That's kind of what a bus or a send is. Compression bus. Here's a compression bus. Okay, let's add a compressor. So I don't know, we're just going to be really sloppy with our compressor today. So there you go. We have our sends or our buses, and now we make our submixes. So hold Control and Shift, and that'll allow you to select tracks very nicely. So you can, drag over a bunch to select them. You can drag over them again to deselect them, and you can also click individuals so they don't have to all be connected. Anyway, Shift and Control, and we can select lots of things. So let's select everything here. We don't want the bass to be selected though. This is our first submix. We're going to go from the outside in. We're going to go from the biggest submix into the smallest one. So what we have here is nested submixes, right? We're going to have a reverb submix inside of a compression submix inside of the main mix. So we're going to select the biggest mix first, or the biggest submix, which is the compression, because that has all the drums, and the reverb mix is essentially a subset of the compression mix. So here we go. Still holding Control or Control and Shift. We're going to right-click the bus in question. We're going to go to Track Routing, Create Submix, okay? And it'll give you the option to name it something else. I'm just going to leave it like that. And this is named Compression Bus Master now, because this is the sub master. Now, the one that you click on, and you say Create Submix, that one will stay routed to whatever it was routed to before. All the tracks are defaultly routed to the master. So in this case, this is going to be routed to the master. If it had been routed to something else, this one would stay routed to that something else, and we'll see that when we do the reverb bus. Okay, but now all these have been automatically unlinked from the master. Here's the routing controls down here. See how they're all unlinked from the master, but they all go to the compression bus. Fantastic. And the bass, of course, is left to its own devices, just going straight to the master again. Now let's make the reverb bus. So this time we're going to just select the clap, hat, snare, and the reverb bus, and then again we're going to right click on the reverb bus, holding down Control, and then Track Routing, Create Submix. Now click Enter, and now we have a submix essentially. Now notice how the reverb bus is still routed to the compression bus because that's where it was routed before. And the one that you click on won't change where it goes to. It'll stay routed to whatever it was routed to before. And now these, however, all go to the one that you click on, right? Every other one that you had selected besides the one you clicked on is now routed to the one that you clicked on when you created that submix. So the clap, hat, and snare are all going into the reverb goes into the compression, the kick goes into the compression, and we have what we wanted. And now just to show you, we can also sidechain the kick and the bass still, because these submixes do not isolate parts of the mixer from other parts of the mixer. All they're really doing is automating the process of routing that you might do by yourself, all manually, okay? And even though they are making these dividers come up visually, it's not isolating any part of the mixer from any other part of the mixer. And now we have exactly what we set out to have, and we use submixes to get there. So another use for submixes is if you had, so let's say, vocals integrated into the track, so you have the instrumental and the vocals all in the same project, so you have all the synths and all the drums individually in the project, and you also have the vocals there, right? What you can do is mix them as if you had bounced the instrumental and the vocal, okay, by making submixes for the instrumental and the vocal. So it's pretty useful. Also, by the way I was moving the bass track around, just in case you don't know, if you hold Alt and then you use the arrows, if you use the arrows, it'll just like move along which one you're selected to, but if you hold Alt, then it'll actually move the track, and it will reroute the channel. So like I have a channel on my channel rec, this 3x OSC channel, it's routed to 10 right now. If I move this around by holding Alt, it'll reroute. So now it's at 15. Pretty useful there, and you can do that to as many as you want. So like I could even do that to like these, for instance. I could do that, and the routing will all stay the same. It's really confusing now, but the routing will all stay the same. Everything will be relative to one another. It all works out in the end, so that's pretty useful too. There you go. That's how submixes work, how to use them, and exactly how to implement them in FL Studio. Hopefully that was useful, and I look forward to all the great music that's going to be made a little bit more efficiently with this technique. Thanks for watching. Bye.